I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway as we prepare for qualifying in preparation for tomorrow's fourth race of Season 7 of the SRA Duracell Cup Series. 43 drivers going to be qualifying for 42 available spots here today. We begin things with Group A in round 1. As the defending series champion Charles Sanford heads out onto the racetrack. Charles Sanford, good run last week at Las Vegas. Up 14 spots in the standings, now 15th in overall points coming into this one. Charles Sanford almost won that race last week before he was taken 3 wide into turn 1 on the final lap. 1 lap shootout restart. At the close of that one, Kyler Sustre making that move and eventually going on to pick up the victory. This season has been quite eventful, and we're only 3 races in. We've had 2 non-charter drivers go to victory lane. We've had back-to-back rookies go to victory lane, and now we've been kind of documenting the Matthew Rodriguez storyline ever since he won the Daytona 500. Well, now we've got another driver to keep an eye on. That's Kyler Sustre, who is running full-time in a non-charter capacity after picking up that victory last week. Kyler comes into this race 30th in overall points and trying to get up above that cut line, hoping that that victory might get him a wild card spot, or if he can make enough starts, be consistent enough, maybe, just maybe, Kyler Sustre could point his way into the playoffs via top 10 in the standings. Charles Sanford about to come around here. Little toe off the back of Levi McIntyre. He'll put down the first official lap of this qualifying session at a 53.226. Pocono, a 2.5 mile, 3-corner speedway. So we will, I believe, have things somewhat spread out here. The ability to be able to get draft laps will be few and far between. Those select few will be very lucky as they will attempt to qualify into the Fast 5 here from Group A to run for the pole in the final round of qualifying. I don't know if he's out on the racetrack yet, as we'll start bringing up the speeds on the top of the screen. 15 minutes in these qualifying sessions here this weekend. But Matthew Rodriguez is in this group. There he is. Since he is still, despite the fact he didn't make the race last week in Las Vegas, he is still in the top 22 in points. As a matter of fact, despite the non-start last week, he is still 7th in overall point standing, so he is still in a playoff position. He lost 6 spots from the points lead down to 7th. A big reason why he didn't lose as many spots as we would originally have thought is because in the 2 starts he made, Daytona and Manassas, he finished 1st and 3rd. Right now, Rodriguez is 2nd on the board at a 52.822. That behind Dylan Poteet, who's in at a 52.449. Gonna have three drivers, three go-home drivers that are attempting to qualify for 2 spots here this week. Matthew Rodriguez going to be one of them. Kyler Sustre going to be another. Both of them former winners on the season. The other driver that could be the fly in the ointment for either one of those 2 drivers would be Benny Watson, Pennsylvania native. He's going to be driving the Haas Racing entry this week, the number 80, attempting to qualify for his first official points-paying start of the season. I was going to say first start of the season, but if we want to count the Clash, he took part in that at Slinger Speedway. Benny Watson, of course, we're not going to see him in a points-paying capacity as a full-time driver until we get to North Wilkesboro. Of course, running in the Duracell Ultra Light Series, former winner this season at Daytona in that series. Got the Dylan and Dylan Show nose to tail here. Reese Banks, new livery for him here this week at Pocono. GM sponsoring the Ford Mustang out of Lake Effect Autosport. Right ahead of this group is his teammate, former winner on the season, Casey Hoyt. Got his first career win at Manassas a couple of weeks ago. Started the trend, it seems, of rookie drivers going to victory lane. Casey Hoyt and Kyler Sustre, the winners of the last 2 races. That's got to give some hope to some of the other full-time rookies like Will Goss and Connor Breton. As right now, Zachary Fitzwater has jumped up to the top of the leaderboard in the 66. And just like that, he loses the top position. Charles Sanford jumps up to the top. Fitzwater drops to second. Benjamin Miles right behind him in third. Zachary Fitzwater coming into this race 17th in overall points. He was 9th going into Las Vegas last week, but he and a lot of drivers really struggled. Fitzwater actually was one of a few drivers that were upside down, flipping on the front straightaway in the multiple wrecks that we had there. We had about half the field finish, about half the field back behind the wall. Some drivers suffered more than others as far as their free fall through the point standings. Fitzwater was one of those that was kind of on the side that really got hurt, losing 8 positions with his DNF last week. He's now outside of a potential playoff position, but could get back in if he gets a good, decent outing in this one. It's kind of been a flip-flop for Evans Motorsports here in the first 3 races of the season. Fitzwater was consistent through the first 2 races, and then Las Vegas happened. Rob Evans has been the most consistent driver on the year. He's 3rd in overall points coming into this one. We'll see if we can find him in just a few moments. And Zach Rogers has found absolutely no luck since returning back to the Duracell Cup Series full-time. He is right now 43rd in points. He, along with Matt McIntyre, Nick Gunther, Kyle Matthews, who are full-time drivers that we'll see in the second group, Group B here in round 1. They're behind drivers that have less starts than them. Kyler Sustre only has 2 starts. Matthew Rodriguez only 2 starts. Mike Tellier only 1 start in the Great American Race Daytona 500. They're all running ahead of Matt McIntyre and Nick Gunther, and then Jordan Lopez, who made his first start last week at Vegas. All of those drivers I mentioned, along with Lopez, they're ahead of Rogers and Matthews, who have made 3 starts this year. Charles Sanford still at the top of the board. Here's the driver on the hot seat, Laura Chung, in the 77, right now 5th on the board at a 52.387. Levi McIntyre right now 4th. Benjamin Miles 3rd, Zachary Fitzwater, and Charles Sanford is the running order on up. And you can see all 5 of those drivers right there in that camera shot. See if anybody's going to have anything for him there. There's James Qualls in the 70. He's your new points leader coming into this week. James Qualls, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s in the first 3 races. Average finishing position of 6th, and he's been doing that with an average starting position of worse than 37th. He and Dylan Poteet, they both have had really bad qualifying numbers, but it is translated into really good finishing numbers. And you got to think that James Qualls and Joanna Atman Motorsports have some confidence coming into this week, because the defending winner of this race was Joshua Osborne. Got his first career win here 1 season ago, and that was in a JAM Chevrolet. So James Qualls, the aforementioned Osborne, Quentin Moore, that team got to be feeling pretty confident, since they're the only team that has a next-gen car victory here at Pocono. RJ Bishop right now 13th on the board in the Kroger GT500. 52.712 right now for him. RJ comes into this race just outside of a playoff position. 14th in points, and little contact right there between himself and Jesse Turner. That might be a little shade of what to expect tomorrow when drivers are double wide going into turn 3 at up to speed and in the draft. Very nearly had a wreck there. Jesse Turner, he struggled last week. He was one of the drivers that suffered a DNF after back-to-back second place finishes to start off the season at Daytona and Manassas. Lost 3 spots in the standings, but still 5th overall in points. Looking to get back on track here this week at Pocono. Right now he is 11th on the speed charts. Reggie Fogelman just ran his fastest lap of the session, but he is sitting at 17th at a 53.045, the lap he just turned. He's got the Alliance Truck Parts sponsorship, the black and gold on his Chevrolet Camaro this week. Reggie Fogelman, if the season were to end now and the playoffs were to begin, he would have the final spot in the playoffs via points. He is 10th in overall standings coming into this one. Just picked up a spot up to 16th. Just ran the 52s at a 9.68. Casey Hoyt, no benefit of draft right now for the former winner. 2nd in overall points. The winner a couple weeks ago at Manassas. So unless Casey Hoyt's able to find a drafting partner here in the next 3.5 minutes, more than likely going to be starting pretty close to the rear of the field in that body armor Ford Mustang. Matt Haas, 31st in points, dropped 9 spots in the standings last week. Right now he is 15th on the board. Matthew Rodriguez going to kind of have the same situation that we had last week at Las Vegas, where he's the only non-charter driver in Group A. So he is, in essence, setting the time that Benny Watson and Kyler Sustre will have to try and beat to make it into the show. We saw that come back to bite Matthew Rodriguez at Las Vegas. Jordan Lopez and Kyler Sustre both were eventually able to beat his time. Right now, Matthew Rodriguez setting the bar at a 52.650 as he's in a group here with some fellow Blue Ovals, Reese Banks, Destin Bolin, and Dylan Young. Dylan Young very far down on the speed charts. Right now he's 20th of the 22 drivers that have taken time. 53.094 for the Hooters Ford Mustang. Dylan Young 20th in the standings coming into this race. Destin Bolin right now 6th on the board, trying to knock on the door of the top 5 to be able to run for the pole. Destin, I believe, gained the most spots last week than any other driver. 15 spots gained last week, from 27th up to 12th. So the 3-time winner from last season, and one of the drivers that ran for the championship in the season finale. Looks like that team's starting to find their stride here in his second full-time season with Young Motorsports. Austin Plant there, right now 11th on the board. Plant coming into this race 8th in the points right now, up in a playoff position. Gained 9 spots in the standings last week. Had a really good run in the Ally Chevrolet Camaro. Looking to follow that up here this week. Mentioned about Rob Evans, 3rd in overall points. There he is. Right now he's 16th on the board. 52.851, and there is Dylan Poteet. Now Poteet did not get a good run last week. He suffered a DNF, I believe. He finished 27th, if I'm not mistaken. However, since he finished ahead of other drivers that were ahead of him in the point stands, he actually gained 1 position in the point standings, moved from 5th up to 4th. 19 points out of the points lead, so one of those rare occasions. Oh, LaPlante just had an engine expire out of turn 3. That's something that you don't want to have happen, but if it's going to happen, I guess have it happen in a practice session. Will Goss right now, he is last of the drivers that have taken time. The rookie out of Young Motorsports, 22nd on the board at 53.5. 4 drivers have yet to break into the 52s, being Hoyt, Young, Cole Deaver, and Will Goss. Boy, big, tough break there for Cole Deaver. Looks like he'll be starting pretty deep in the field after he gained 7 spots last week, 6th in overall points, and he's been really good in qualifying so far this season. This is, I guess, a one-off here. They just have not found the speed, not found the setup. There he is in the forefront of your screen, the GM Goodwrench Dale Sr. throwback Chevrolet. As we're focused on Laura Chung here in the closing stages of the session, looks like if you're going to put down the lap time, it's going to get you into the Fast 5. Do it early, because Chung, McIntyre, Miles, Fitzwater, and Samper, who are all up in the top 5 right now, it's exactly what they did. Red flag in the air. And Charles Sanford, second last week at Las Vegas, defending champion. Looks like he is going to be the fastest in Group A. Round 1 of our qualifying session here this weekend at Pocono. 52.115. The lap time that's going to have him at the top of the speed charts. Zachary Fitzwater will clock in second at a 52.198. Then Benjamin Miles, Levi McIntyre, and Laura Chung, it looks like officially will be the Fast 5 moving on to the final round of qualifying to run for the pole position. They're just getting, looks like, the final calculations done. I believe all drivers' scoring has ceased. Going to be 3 Chevrolets, 1 Ford, and 1 Toyota from Group A that will be moving on to the final round of qualifying as, yep, Sanford crossed the line. No update on the timing charts. Session should be completed here in the next couple of seconds, or how about right now? So let's take a look at the qualifying order, at least here from Group A. We gave you the Fast 5. Destin Bolin, he'll roll off the grid from 12th. Dylan Poteet, I'm sorry, correction, that would be 11th for Destin Bolin, 13th for Dylan Poteet, 15th Michael Norman. Saw him running kind of by himself there for a good portion of this session, so he must have found someone to draft with to get up inside the top 10. Rob Evans and James Qualls will be up inside the top 20. That's a bit unusual for Poteet and Qualls to be anywhere even near the vicinity of the top 20 after the average finishing position both of those drivers have had to start out the season. Will Goss, Cole Deaver, Dylan Young, Casey Hoyt, former winner, they'll be starting pretty deep in the field. And Matthew Rodriguez, Group B, is going to determine whether or not he'll make his 3rd start on the season or not. Right now, 13th on the chart, 52.650 will be the lap time that both Benny Watson and Kyler Sustre will have to beat in their attempts to make the race tomorrow. Well, don't go anywhere. We got a quick commercial break coming up. We've got the Group B drivers having their cars rolled out onto the grid, and we'll be seeing them take to the racetrack for their qualifying session in just a few moments. We'll be right back here to Pocono right after this. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Drivers wasting no time getting out there onto the racetrack here as we continue on round 1 of qualifying here from Pocono. Tomorrow's race, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here from the Tricky Triangle, race 4 of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series is Jose Mills. We'll take to the racetrack. Most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series, though riding a very long winless streak. Struggled at the beginning, first 2 races. Little glimmer of hope last week, had a solid outing at Las Vegas. Moved up 6 spots in the standings, 35th in points coming into this one, so still a lot of work to do. Jose Mills, I guess, saw what happened in Group A. The drivers that got out there quickly, turned the lap times early, were the drivers that pretty much stayed up at the top of the speed charts. So maybe taking that in mind. And he was very, very quick. As soon as the green flag waved for drivers to head out, he was on it. Mitchell Collins in the 33. Collins, another driver that gained in the point standings last week. Still looking for his first top 10 on the year, but gained 7 spots in the standings after Vegas. 25th in overall standings coming into this one. Jose Mills going to get a nice draft lap, it looks like here. He closed up enough, I think, where he'll get a slipstream down the long straightaway here. Should have a pretty good lap time. 53.327. We'll see if anybody's going to be able to get into the 52.1s. A couple of drivers did in Group A. Charles Samper and Zachary Fitzwater. Carson Gum in the 19. Gained a couple of spots last week in the point standings, though he was involved in at least one incident that I can recall at Vegas. 24th in overall points for Carson Gum. Coming into this one, he's got the Sharpie sponsorship on his Chevrolet Camaro for the first time this season. Ryan Butcher, Keith Batson working together here, a Ford and a Toyota. Ryan Butcher. '26th in points coming to this one. He was another of the drivers that gained last week, up 8 spots in the standings. Keith Batson in the 39, on the other hand, he ended up being one of the drivers that fell in the point standings. I believe he was the 3rd highest driver to lose positions in the point standings. Batson, last week, remember, was in Group A, but fell outside of the top 22, 23rd in overall points coming to this one, so now he is in Group B this weekend. Drivers that took the biggest hits last week in point standings would have been Nick Gunther. He dropped 13 spots in the points last week. And then 12 spots lost by Caleb Fogler and 11 spots lost apiece by Keith Batson and Chris Dollerton. So if you're looking at drivers that are trying to stop the bleeding, stop the skidding here this week, those are some of the guys you might want to be looking in the direction of. Kyler Sustre. He was a gainer last week, obviously, going to victory lane for the first time in his Duracell Cup Series career at Las Vegas. Second non-charter driver to do it this season. Prior to last week, Kyler Sustre had made one other start. That was at Manassas, where he accumulated 4 points. Now, 1 week later, he is 30th in the point standings with a checkered flag in hand. And if he can make the race this week, then he could continue to try and maybe climb up in the point standings, if not get into the top 10 by regular season's end, maybe have that win or get a couple more along the way and clinch himself a wild card spot. Kyle Matthews, dead last in points. And when I mean dead last in points, I don't mean just dead last of the drivers that are chartered machines. He is 44th in point standings of 44 drivers that have taken a green flag this year. And that's with 3 starts. Average finishing position of 36th. Former champion, I should say. Former playoff contender from last season as well. Looking for something good to happen here this week at Pocono. Drafting there with his teammate Jessica Shelton. Project Dodge out of S3 Motorsports. Now Jessica Shelton, on the other hand, she was doing well She was up as high as, I believe, 21st in points, but last week she suffered a DNF, dropped 8 spots in the standings, and is now 33rd in overall points. But their teammate Charles Samper was at the top of the board in Group A. Right now, Matthews is 5th, Shelton is 6th, so maybe we can see a trio of S3 Motorsports cars make it into the final 10 to run for the pole position later on. Another driver that's struggling, Matt McIntyre, the 21 out of Michael Norman Motorsports. He is 40th in points, dropped 10 spots in the standings last week. And there is the other driver that really needs something good to happen. We talked about it back during Group A, Zach Rogers. 35th place average finish position, 43rd out of 44 drivers in overall points. Cody Lamas behind him. He started out the season struggling. Last week at Las Vegas, though, big pick-me-up. Gained 10 spots in the standings after his first top 10 on the year, 28th in overall points. So still a lot of work to do for the Llama Racing Chevrolet. Right now he's 12th on the board. Nick Gunther just got dropped to dead last. He was 20th. Now he's down to 21st of the drivers that have taken time here. Nick Gunther, 4-time winner last year, was the Project Mazda out of Fortnite Squad Racing. Now they are fielding 2 Mazdas this season. At Gunther, in the first 3 races, he is 41st in overall points. Nathan Ormond, the 23. He gained last week. 34th in overall points after getting his first top 5 on the season. So making some gains, but trying to continue on. Anthony McCurry also made some gains last week, up 15 spots in overall points. That was the most next to Destin Bolin. 15 spots for both of those drivers. Anthony 22nd in overall points now coming into this one as he makes a pass on Caleb Fogler. Anthony right now 5th on the board, trying to lock himself into the Fast 5. There's Fogler in the 28. Caleb dropped 12 spots in standings last week, from 20th now 32nd in points coming to this one, the former champion from Season 5. And it looks like for a second straight week, Matthew Rodriguez will not make the race. Tyler Sustre right now up in the Fast 5 at a 52.591. And Benny Watson currently sits 6th on the board. There he is, 52.534. The lap time that he has put down. And remember that Matthew Rodriguez set the bar at a 5.60. Both drivers, both of the non-charter drivers here in this session, have beaten that. So Kyler Sustre, Benny Watson, no, they are locked into tomorrow's race. Matthew Rodriguez, for the second straight week, will not qualify into the show, so he will drop even further in the point standings at the conclusion of tomorrow's race. Right now, second on the board is Connor Breton, running in the draft of Daniel Voiles. 52.413 for Connor Breton. It's Benny Watson coming to pit road. Daniel Voiles, who's providing the draft for Connor Breton, was 16th on the board. He just actually picked up to 13th, 52.759. Breton just got dropped from 2nd to 4th. Joshua Osborne and Chris Dullerton have now made their way up into the top 5. Osborne up to 2nd at a 52.368. Dullerton at a 52.374. So that knocks Kyler Sustre out of the top 5. Puts Ryan Butcher on the bubble. That's a pretty good group right here as well. Jose Mills 21st on the board. Let's see if he picks up. No, he does not. No pickup for Joshua Osborne and no pickup for Dullerton. Mitchell Collins in this group as well. Collins and Mills right now are 20th and 21st. That is last and next to last in the session, as you see Collins go way up the track there, allowing Joshua Osborne on by. Osborne, of course, the defending winner of this race, would love to be able to double down, get back-to-back wins at Pocono. Osborne coming into this one 38th in points, so probably very happy to be back at Pocono, a track where they've got race-winning notes to be able to fall back on. And obviously bringing the same type of speed here in qualifying, as he is in one of the Fast 5 positions. Chris Dallerton, 27th in overall point standings coming to this one. Lost 11 spots in the standings after a dismal finish at Vegas last week. Fastest driver right now in this session, though, is right there, Keith Batson in the 39. Single car out of KB Racing Enterprises, 52.358 is the lap that has him at the top of the speed charts right now. A far cry from the fastest laps we saw in Group A. And it's kind of interesting, too, because, you know, you go back to Manassas, you go back to Las Vegas, the drivers that were in Group B, their lap times picked up because of the rubber that was laid down from Group A. We're not seeing that here at Pocono. The speeds actually are slower in the later group. So I don't know exactly what all goes into that. But obviously, polar opposite, maybe, of what drivers were expecting that we're going to be going out here in this second group. Right now we got 2 Fords, 2 Chevys, and 1 Toyota that would be moving on if nothing changes. I think Batson might be coming to pit road this time. Nope, actually Shelton's coming to pit road. Crosses right in front of the nose of the Citgo Ford Mustang. She's going to hit pit lane. 11th on the board right now for Jessica Shelton. I thought that draft would definitely play a bigger part into qualifying this week. But you got this group of 3, which under normal circumstances you would think would have these guys up at least around the top 10. Nope, not the case. Nick Gunther, that we're looking at right now, is 17th on the board. Zach Rogers, 14th, and Cody Lama, 16th. So maybe outside of the straightaway, in the corners, I guess you don't necessarily want to be in somebody's draft. Is Kyle Matthews on pit road, Joshua Osborne getting a fresh set of tires, send him out maybe for one more run. Anthony McCurry and Kyler Sustre, after Osborne and Dallerton jumped up into the top 5, they got displaced. So now McCurry currently sits 7th on the speed charts. Ryan Brommer, the 87. It's like he may be the only Auto Junction Racing Toyota that won't move on to the final round. Laura Chung transferred 5th fastest in Group A, and right now Ryan Butcher holds the 5th position in Group B. Brommer right now 18th on the board at a 53.065. I think I said back in Group A that 4 drivers failed to break the 52-second brackets. Same case here in Group B. Brommer, Fogler, Collins, and Mills are the only 4 drivers that have not gotten into the 52-second bracket here. Connor Breton, 4th on the chart there for Northeast Motorsports. Looks like he will more than likely move on to the final round to run for the pole position. Connor Breton was one of few drivers last week that their points position did not change. He is still 36th in overall points. Rookie points obviously are close since we've only got 3 races completed. Casey Hoyt 2 points over Will Goss, 4 points over Connor Breton. And then non-charter drivers Kyler Sustre 10 points back and Mike Tellier 17 points back. Zeros on the clock. Not sure if they've stopped scoring or not. But Benny Watson, 52.534, going to be enough for him to make his first points-paying start on the year here at his home track. And Kyler Sustre higher than that, 6th on the board. They will be the 2 non-charter drivers that will move on to the main event tomorrow. Matthew Rodriguez will be the go or go homer that will not make the show. And Keith Batson, going to be the fastest driver here in Group B over Joshua Osborne, Chris Dollerton, Connor Breton, and Ryan Butcher. Fastest lap laid down by Keith Batson, over 0.2 slower than the lap time laid down by Charles Sanford in Group A. As a matter of fact, I'm not necessarily certain the lap time laid down by Keith Batson would have gotten you into the Fast Five in Group A. Completion of scoring. Looks like we have our 10 drivers that are going to be running for the pole. Here's a look at the qualifying results here from Group B. And of the drivers that are moving on, only one of them is a former pole sitter this season, that being Joshua Osborne in the 27, who clocked in second on the board here in Group B. Everybody else, they're running for their first pole on the season. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it here. Who's going to get that fastest lap to lead the field to green tomorrow afternoon? We'll wait and find out. So it's Keith Batson, Joshua Osborne, Chris Dollerton, Connor Breton, and Ryan Butcher, the Fast Five here from Group B. They'll join Charles Sanford, Zachary Fitzwater, Benjamin Miles, Levi McIntyre, and Laura Chung from Group A. Rest of the drivers there subsequently will start on the outside of their respective rows, and we know officially that Kyler Sestre and Benny Watson will be the two non-charter drivers that will clinch the two available spots for tomorrow's race. All right, well, as drivers that failed to make the final round are pushed back to the garage area, and the remaining 10 sit on pit road. We're going to take another quick commercial break, give them a chance to cool down the engines a bit, and get ready to run for the pole here in the final round of qualifying from Pocono. Don't go anywhere. Coverage continues right after this. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Final round of qualifying set to get underway here at Pocono. Fast Five from the respective two groups in round one, set to try and set the fastest lap. Big racetrack. We ended up seeing not a whole lot of draft laps come into play, at least in the latter stages. So I think this one, it's all going to come down to raw speed underneath the hood, as Laura Chung is the first one down and away. Laura Chung, the fifth fastest in Group A to advance into this round. Mentioned the fact 9 of these drivers running for their first pole on the year. Joshua Osborne, the only former pole sitter, looking for back-to-back poles. He was the pole sitter at Las Vegas last week, was the fastest car in Vegas in that qualifying session. And he set down a pretty good lap as well in Group B. When I went back, I said about Keith Batson's lap time, I didn't think that would be enough for him to even qualify into the Fast Five in Group A. That would have been incorrect. Batson's 52.358 would have garnered him 5th position, albeit about a 10th off of 4th place. So the track definitely slowed down a ton from Group A to Group B back in the first round. Laura Chung, one of 2 of the Auto Junction Racing Toyotas that moved on to this second round of qualifying, and I believe is the only team that has multiple drivers in this second round. You've got S3 Motorsports with Charles Sanford, Northeast Motorsports with Connor Breton, Blue Oval Automotive with Chris Dollerton, KB Racing Enterprises with Keith Batson, Joanna Atwood Motorsports with Joshua Osborne, Shadow Cult Racing with Levi McIntyre, and actually, nope, correction, there are 2 other teammates in this final round. Northeast Motorsports has 2 entries with the aforementioned Breton and also Benjamin Miles. Then you got Zachary Fitzwater from Evans Motorsports as a 53.495. Going to be the first lap laid down there by Laura Chung. So the gauntlet thrown down. Zachary Fitzwater, 53.673. That's not going to beat the lap time by Chung. Ryan Butcher is now on the clock. 53.711 for Keith Batson. Dollarton now on the clock as well. Here comes Joshua Osborne in the 27. Former winner here from Pocono, as mentioned, the defending winner. 53.688 has him third on the board right now. Levi McIntyre, 53.853. Sanford, top of the board, 53.368. Laura Chung's going to top that after getting a nice toe off the back of the 88 of Connor Breton, 52.991. That might be tough to beat, especially with the fact we only have 5 minutes here in this final qualifying session, and we've used up a majority of it, a minute and a half left. If we're going to lay down that money lap, it's going to have to be either this lap or the next lap. I think that's all the time that's going to be allotted. Not seeing anybody else that's really going to get the benefit of draft. Chung and Breton may have got something worked out here. Sanford might get a little bit of a toe off of McIntyre, but I don't think he's close enough. Let's see if Breton might be able to get enough of a run here on Laura Chung to be able to go top of the board. He's got to beat a 52.991, and his first lap is a 53.575. Chung may have this, as she just even beat her own lap time, 52.859 for Laura Chung. I think Laura Chung may have this pole position wrapped up. Charles Sanford, 53.004. He's got a good toe off of Levi McIntyre here. Hold on a sec. Don't give the pole to Laura Chung just yet. Let's see what Sanford can do here. He's got this lap. Might be the last one getting counted. Gonna have to pick up 0.3 of a second, though. Down the front straightaway. Let's see if he gets anywhere close to the 52.8s. 52.7. A 7.06. Does Chung have an answer? No, she does not. Breton with the draft, 52.9, but Charles Sanford got the timing perfect on the back bumper of Levi McIntyre, and he is top of the board at a 7.06. And I think that might just get the pole position. Sanford had the fastest lap in round 1 at a 52.115. And I think he may be starting from the pole here. Is anybody else back here able to get any kind of a toe lap? Doesn't look like it. Levi McIntyre's lap might pick up this time. I think this is the final scored lap here for these drivers. But being the lead car, I don't think Levi's lap time is going to get to the top of the board. 53.4 moves him to 8th. Sanford's lap time did not improve, and I think Laura Chung realized she wasn't going to get the pole. She's called it a lap early and brought it to pit road. So she'll share the front row with Charles Sanford, but Sanford is going to capture his first pole position of the season. Fresh off that runner-up finish last week at Las Vegas, momentum trending upward for the defending champion. As we now wait for session to come to a close. Looks like Connor Breton sits third, Ryan Butcher fourth, and Joshua Osborne going to be the top 5 for tomorrow's starting lineup. Session is complete. You see the lap time scrolling on the top of your screen, and that is pretty much the way that they are going to be here for your top 10 starters tomorrow. Fitzwater will clock in 6th, Keith Batson 7th, Levi McIntyre, Chris Dollerton, and Benjamin Miles will be the top 10. Those are your 5 front respective rows for tomorrow's Cup Series race here from Pocono. So Charles Sanford, the fastest man in Pennsylvania this weekend, will be leading us to green tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. Hope you guys will join us for that. If you guys enjoyed this qualifying session, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We'll be showing you in just a few moments the official starting lineup for tomorrow. And of course, it's just the Cups series this weekend. We won't see the Light series until North Wilkesboro in a few weeks' time. So until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.